All right, everybody, we got Jesse Knight on the phone with us tonight, and he's on our Let's Grow Polling show, and he owns and drives the Hillbilly Bone. It's a limited pro stock diesel truck, or a 3.0 for all you diesel truck followers. That's last year's 2.6 class, and this year they're calling it the 3.0, and he runs with the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pullers. That's where you'll see him on the track, or the Western Series of the Lucas Oil Pro Polling League. So Jesse Knight, welcome to the show tonight, and thanks for taking some time out, and we'll get into a little bit later, your Semper Fi fund and your 100% of your track winnings going, to Semper Fi fund. But let's talk about Jesse Knight, the puller, first. So, Jesse, where do you live?
We live in Lebo, Kansas.
Okay, how far is that from like any big towns that I could recognize, like Kansas City?
We're an hour and a half southwest of Kansas City, right between Kansas City and Wichita, Kansas.
Okay, not bad. Is there a lot of truck pulling in Kansas?
No, unfortunately, there's not. There's been some mom and pop pulling organizations, and they come and go, and so we pretty much started out with the Flint Hills Truck and Tractor Pullers, and then MSTPA, which is the Missouri State Truck and Tractor Pullers, and so we kind of anything for us is 3 hours away or greater.
Man,
to travel to a pull.
You're very committed to be able to do that. How long have you been pulling trucks?
Since probably 2008.
Have you always been a diesel guy? I'm sorry, Jesse, didn't mean to talk on you.
Always been a diesel guy.
So what did you start with, like a 2.5, a 2.6, or did you have the 3.0 on right away?
Actually, we started in the work stock.
Okay.
And then I had a 2007 Dodge Ram, and we started pulling work stock, and then we went 2.6, and then it just kind of got crazy from there. And then we got rid of the original Hillbilly Bone, and then this year we come out with the Hillbilly Bone Unleashed, and hoping to do some good for our soldiers.
Have you been how many pulls have you made up with the truck so far in 2016?
Unfortunately, we was late out of the gate, and we've only made it to 2. Fayette, Missouri, with Lucas Oil, and we placed second with the first night out of the shop, and the setup was wrong, and we worked on it for 3 days straight trying to get it going, so we wanted to go play. And we did so and lucked out, got second. And then we went up to Rock Valley, Iowa, with the Outlaw Pullers, and made a pass. And I think we wound up 6th or 7th out of like 15 up there. And the motor went down on us as we was going down the track. So just unfortunate event.
Do you know what happened, or what kind of engine failure did you have, Jesse?
We galled it 2 pistons, 5 and 6, and the rod bearings were hammered out pretty bad. So it was a new motor, and we really don't know what went wrong. Things got tight and it shut down.
Sure. Now, do you do all your own work on your truck, or what kind of engine components?
O'Brien Diesel out of Kentucky built the motor. Skylar Leaper Auto Repair out of California, Missouri has helped me put the truck together.
Awesome. Yeah, I hear Patrick O'Brien's name a lot, and I hear Hazley's name a lot, and I hear Scheid's name a lot in the diesel world. So I know Patrick O'Brien, he works on Jason Hill's truck, right, from Platte City?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct. Yep.
One of my friends, I live in Richland Center, Wisconsin, Jesse, and one of my friends came down, and he won down in Rock Valley. He has that Blue Smoothie Express, that Dodge, the silver Dodge.
Yes, good runner.
Yep, he came down and pulled against you, so that's how I can kind of put everything together a little bit. So, when's it look like the truck's gonna be back out on the track again?
Well, we're hoping by the Missouri Shootout, which is at Sedalia State Fair. But we're kind of at the mercy of the machine shops right now.
Yep.
And of course, getting pistons and the needed parts to put it back together. So time is everything right now.
Yes, it is.
And I'd sure love to be on the track. That's for sure. It's not much fun sitting at home, on weekends. When you're supposed to be going out and doing something for your organization that you're trying to support.
Well, we have such a short season, and it's unfortunate that that we get one chance at it every night we go out. You know what I mean? I'm hoping to hoping to kind of keep spreading the word. I'd like to see polling organizations adopt kind of what they did down there at the Missouri Invitational Poll. Jay Steiger put that on earlier this year, where he had all those pro stock trucks and he had 30 of them. He kind of did some bracket polling. I think that's kind of neat. I think that kind of does a correlation to racing, and it brings back the pull off, but it pays the puller for the pull off. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to hook their truck for free. Yeah, no pullers. We're not making any money truck and tractor pulling, but you don't want to make that second pass for free. You know what I mean? So, like last night, we had our tractor down in Darlington, Wisconsin. Saturday night, we had our tractor down in Darlington, Wisconsin, and there was, I think, 11 or 12 in our class, and they did a $1,000 win shootout. They took the top 5, brought him back, and Brent was driving the tractor Saturday night, and he got 4th, and he got into the shootout. He didn't win the shootout, but, they still gave us $200, and it was cool for the fans, because that's kind of that home have the better track. That's not fair. That's why we'd like to, keep talking about this whole, you hook your 30 trucks in a row.
I mean, now that we've got the large, or you have the option to have the large rear ends and the drop box reversers, all that stuff, I mean, now it's more conducive to being able to pull more than one, or hooking more than once in an evening, Back when, they was running, the pull-offs and you're still running factory drive line, and you get into the pull-off, but at the end of the track, you shelled your rear end out, or you broke an axle, or you blew your transmission up, or whatever it may be, and then that knocks you out of the pull-off. But the pull-off determines who wins or who loses.
Yep.
And then let's just say you're second place in the featured show, but because you went past 320 foot, they put you into a pull-off and you couldn't go, so you wound up losing the event. So I mean, now that the trucks are better suited for stuff like that, we're here to put on a show for the crowd. I mean, that's what it's all about. Just go out there and put our toys on the track and please the crowd. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, the entertainment value, and that's what we've been talking about in a lot of the shows and the podcasts, is entertain the fans. How do we entertain the fans? And that's one way I think, you can have these shootouts, you can have these brackets a lot of different ways. So, hey, pulling's such a family sport, Jesse. Tell us about your family a little bit that supports you in this wild hobby of yours.
Well, yeah, I mean, my wife, number one, Tracy, I mean, I couldn't do it without her. And my son, he's my road partner, and he's my pit guy, Colby, and couldn't do it without my company, Night Trucking, and of course, Patrick O'Brien and Libra Auto Repair. I mean, that, and then when you get to the polls, then you got your pulling family, I mean, you've got your immediate family, and then you got your pulling family. So you can't do it without any of them. Everybody's there to help you out.
No, you make fantastic friends in the pulling world. How old?
Oh, you do.
How old is
people? Even though you're in competition on the track, if you need a part or something, and even though they're your competition, they'll help you out. That's what's so cool about it.
No, it is. Hey, how old is your son?
He is almost 15. July 31st, he'll be 15.
So he's about a year away from driving at a sanctioned event yet then, so cool.
Yep, he's about a year away from taking my seat, I hope.
Hey, Jesse, one thing I hear a lot is that, there's a perception that pullers are just a bunch of drunk redneck, tobacco chewing, just rednecks. And it's so far from the truth, because you got to have good engineering, you got to have money, to put a good piece on the track. Why? I'm trying to figure out why. First of all, why there is that stigma, and then number two, how do we bust out of that? Because we talked about sponsors, and I would love to have a national sponsor. You would love to have a national sponsor. The pullers deserve a national sponsor. You know what I mean? How do we get through to that, Jesse?
Well, and I really don't know. I mean, you go to NASCAR and you want to, the perception is you want to go to the biggest hillbilly race, go to NASCAR. I mean, and it's the same way. I mean, we're good-hearted people. We're 90% of the pullers are self-made companies. They built their companies up. I mean, they're self-employed. They're farmers. They're ranchers. They're truck drivers. They're trucking company owners. I mean, they're business people, and I don't know how we've got the stigma of being, rednecks, I guess you could say.
Well, I don't know if that's the right word. I'm not always the best at saying the right words, Jesse, but it's just, it's such a high level pulling. There's a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars wrapped into these machines, and we're going out to pull to win $500-600. And I know that Outlaws and the Western Series pay well. I know that. I'm not knocking that at all. I'm not knocking any association, but we got to get more fans in the stands first of all. I mean, because as a promoter, Jesse, if you have, let's say you have a $15,000 show, and that would be probably 3 classes, and by the time you have insurance and fees and stuff like that, so you need at least 1,500 people at $10 each, and to get in, and then you got to pay for your sled, and then to get the track work. But so many people donate things, and I'm right in the middle. Our hometown event is coming up this weekend, churning dirt, and we're just running around. I've been mowing and weed eating at the fairgrounds all day today and getting things ready, Jesse, because we want to have that pride factor. But I don't know what it is. I mean, I know in the early 80s and maybe the late 80s, maybe early 90s, there was big sponsorship, behind it. And I just don't know as pullers if we embrace our fans enough, Jesse. And that's one thing, like NASCAR, they don't embrace their fans anymore. And I'm not saying the Confederate flag is right. And if you don't know the real meaning of the Confederate flag, it has nothing to do with racism. But, they banned the Confederate flag at races. But now you're seeing NASCAR's, their viewers are going down. And I hear that polling's the only thing that's growing. But it's easy to throw percentages out there. I hear that NASCAR's painting, because it's a circle track, Jesse. I hear they're painting parts of their of the stands black, so when it goes around, it doesn't look like there's empty seats. And I keep thinking, okay, pulling's growing, but is pulling growing at 10-20%? And I know there's your huge pulls, your Rock Valley, Iowas, and your Toma, Wisconsin's, your Chapel Hill, Tennessee's, and your big pulls like that, Jesse. But these state level pulls, and that's where pulling is that's where it's going to grow. Is state level, because do you have time? You're driving 3 hours to get to a pole. You can't run out east. You got to run your business. You know what I mean? Because you have a real job. That's how you afford to have a pulling truck. And I'm just trying to figure out. I really want to bust through with this Let's Grow Pulling. I want to get people thinking about it.
Right. I mean, nobody likes to go and put their $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 piece of equipment on a track for 85 people. Because the promoter's not going to make their money off of it, because that's why they're there.
Yep.
And then they're not going to have it next year. And so I mean, we got to get the crowd out there, and we got to get fans and I mean, we got nice looking trucks. I mean, my gosh, go to Shy Diesel Extravaganza. Oh my gosh, the trucks that are pulling down the track are, they've got more than they've got, and I got my truck, and I mean, they're beautiful rigs, and they're proud of it, and that's why they're there for the fans, for the people.
Yep.
They're not there for the money. If we was in it for the money, we'd been gone a long time ago.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But there's nothing wrong with wanting to get paid more. And as a puller, there's nothing wrong with wanting to grow it. So we're pulling in front of 5,000-10,000 pound people every weekend. I mean, I don't know, NFL games, you're not far from Kansas City. You said hour and a half, whatever, though. What's a Chiefs Stadium hold? 75,000 people? I mean.
Oh, yeah, 80,000, yeah.
The pulling.
25 bucks a head,
We got to get pulling. We got to get pulling up to that level, and that's what's fun about talking to everybody. I'd never met you before, and your wife contacted me through the page, and that's kind of a nice segue into. Well, let's talk about your Semper Fi Fund, where you told me you're donating 100% of your track winnings back to the Semper Fi Fund. Can you tell us about that a little bit, Jesse?
Well, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've always been able to use the track winnings to help propel, my hobby, I guess I could say, cover my expenses on the road. And we've got our own company, and we're doing good, and you want to try to better somebody else's life, and what better way to do it as to help the servicemen and women of our country, that defends our freedom and is the reason we're out on the track doing what we're doing, doing what we love to do, So I mean, that's kind of why I did what I did. It's a 3-year deal. I donate 100% of my track winnings to the Semper Fi Fund, and I hope it goes to help somebody in need.
Absolutely. Do you were you in the military, Jesse?
No, I was not.
Okay.
No.
I was in Army Reserves from Oh, I went to basic training between my junior and senior year in high school. They called it split option training. And then I went to AIT then between my senior year in high school and my freshman year in college. So I did that. I was in there from 92 to 2000. So I got out right before the second time we went over to Kuwait. I forget what they call it. Was it Desert Storm was the first one? And then
Desert Storm.
Yeah. So, but my buddies, a lot of them are still in the Guard and reserves, and it's awesome. When I announce, I don't announce as many events as I used to, Jesse. I want to be with my tractor. Announcing's great, but when you're announcing, you don't get to be with that pulling family. You know what I mean? That's why part of the reason you do it, you want to drive it, and you want to be with your buddies and your family back in the pits. And but when I do the national anthem, I say, we live in the greatest country of the world because of our veterans, current and past, and without them, we take Americans, we take it for granted. Now, not everybody does, Jesse, but in whole, when our country goes to war now, it wasn't like it was in World War II where, everybody went to work and we sold bonds and, we just dropped everything because we wanted to win. Now we see it on the news a little bit and, something happened here, but it's just, we don't rally around it like we used to. You know what I mean?
Right. And I mean, that's why this is the best in the world is because of our freedoms, because of the brave men and women that that go out there and protect our freedom.
Yeah, and like the wars that our grandpas and our great grandpas fought, 50, 60, 70 years ago. That's why we have the freedom today, and the wars that we're fighting now are gonna be for our kids and our grandkids. You know what I mean, Jesse? And that's why it's so important that we continue to support the armed forces. And one thing that we do, Jesse, we do a lot of the live videos on Facebook. And if you're listening to the show tonight and you're a promoter or you're a puller or you're just a fan, Facebook is big on these live feeds now. Video is everything in social media, Jesse, and everybody listening. You need to do more live feeds on your personal Facebook page, on your Snapchat, whatever. But we get today, Jesse, for example, one of our admins was out and he was at a mini rod pull and he went up for 45 minutes and it reached 280,000 people. And there's always comments in there, Jesse, and it talks about, hey, I'm in Iraq, I'm watching. We have people watching from all over the world. So I'd like to think our social media is Let's Grow Pulling. We're helping that out with the Beer Money Pulling Team Facebook page. We like to entertain people on there, like to make people laugh because, unfortunately, Jesse, pulling doesn't drive the boat. If we just put pulling on our page, we wouldn't have 466,000 likes. We do a lot of funny stuff.
Right.
We try to do a lot of farming. We have a very conservative male following on our Facebook page. Facebook will show you your stats, and we kind of cater to that to our fans. We're embracing our fans. We know who the Beer Money Pulling Team fan is. And Jesse, and you sound like a great dude. I can tell already. I can't wait to meet you. You need to embrace your fans, and every puller out there listening needs to embrace their fans. We had a little baby in diapers and cowboy boots, a little girl about a year and a half old, standing on the tractor Saturday night in Darlington, Wisconsin, and the mom sent us pictures. And that, I still remember sitting there, and I know you would let people sit in your truck, and fans need to know they can come in these pits, Jesse, and see the vehicles up close and talk to the pullers and stuff like that. And we almost need to take that book out of Monster Jam, Jesse, where we have the autograph sessions ahead of time, and you can sign my T-shirt and entertain the fans, pump your fist a little bit and get going. You know what I mean? I get excited about it. I mean, we have to entertain the fans more. It's more than just us hooking to a sled and pulling a 40,000 pound boat down the track. We got to do more. It's more than that. And
that's right.
So, well, cool.
Yeah, you gotta please the fans that are coming out there spending their hard-earned money to come out and watch you go down the track.
Yep.
And I mean that's I wish people would. What am I trying to say? Do more, try to do more of that. Have a I don't know, a fanfare type thing.
Yep.
Before the pulls. To open up the pits. Because it costs so much more to be in the pits than it does to be in the grandstand. Give it an hour and 30 minutes, something like that, and let the fans come out and see their favorites.
Yep, and a lot of pools are starting to have open pits and different things like that too, and they can walk through. And I think, I want the announcers to know that they can explain that to the fans that are there and stuff like that. Because to see the equipment up close, you and I I don't say we take it for granted, Jesse, but we see our pulling tractor or our pulling truck every day. Every time I walk out the door, there it is. There's my toter, there's my trailer, and there it is. And
right, yeah, to the point that we get tired of it.
Well, the summers do get long. I'm not gonna lie. So,
yep.
hey, before we end a little bit, who do you want to thank again? Like, who are your sponsors that do help you out besides your trucking company and things like that before we end our interview?
Well, number one, my wife Tracy, and Leaper Auto Repair out of California, Missouri, and Patrick O'Brien, and Ben Shaddy, Dunright Diesel. He's my tuning guy, and those are guys that help put me on the track. So the people that helped us out, and of course they helped that I couldn't do it without the company, Night Trucking. So
awesome. Yep. So again, I got Jesse Knight on the phone with me, the Hillbilly Bone. It's a limited pro stock diesel truck. You'll see it out there on the Outlaw Circuit and the Lucas Oil Western Series. So Jesse, thanks for taking the time tonight, and thank you for your support of the Semper Fi Fund. And if anybody, do you have a Facebook page or a web page or anything like that people can find you, Jesse?
The Facebook page is Hillbilly Bone, and that's my original page, and the new truck is called Hillbilly Bone Unleashed. We're using the same page. That way we keep the same fans.
Absolutely.
We don't have to change anything.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thanks for your time tonight, and I'm sorry, go ahead. You were going to finish up.
I said we got pictures and everything on of the new truck and everything else, so and of the old truck also.
Awesome. Well, hey, Jesse, very nice to meet you. Thank your wife again for connecting with us through Facebook, and I really enjoyed the interview, and it'll be good to get this out here so more people will be following the Hillbilly Bone next time you go to the track.
Right on. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Jesse. Have a good night.